I listened to the cheers that went up on one of the things where you said, I'm so glad that I'm here to be able to represent and say, if I can do this, well, you can do it. I thought that was wonderful. So, yeah.
Thank you, Judy. Yeah, it's super important. Thank you.
So we're excited for you and want to cheer you on for Miss Galaxy UK and Miss Galaxy International.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
You know that's all we're about, Kat. We're just about cheering you on, celebrating you, and challenging us to go so much further than we think we can. And it's International Women's Day. What's your, or for International Women's Day, what's your message to a young girl, a teenager, or a woman sitting there thinking, a classic woman thinking, life is beating me down and I can't do what I really want to do. What's your message to them?
I think to link into what the actual theme of this International Women's Day is really important. The theme around it is embracing equity, which we all strive, and we've been conditioned to believe that it's all about equality, and equality is great. However, equity is really important for women. We need to find a level so that if we go for equality, everybody moves up at the same level. If you go for equity, then it means that women get more, so that then we are at an advantage where we can find that level of equality. And that's what is really important in society today, is finding the ways that we as women can elevate our own voices and platforms so that we can reach that level of equity. Because it's so important for women to feel seen and heard and understood and worthy in society. When I talk to the younger generation and I talk to peers that are lacking in self-confidence, the thing that really stands out to me is you have to be happy in yourself. You have to be confident in the person that you are, and you have to accept that that's not just about your exterior and how you look as a person. It's more important about how you feel about who you are. And once you have that confidence inside, that's likely to radiate out and you become a much happier and confident person all round. So I think those things are really important in society today, to actually make sure that women feel that from the outset. So you have to get them from the younger generation and push that out.
Wow. So important. Wow. So important. I think one of the, again, just thinking about some of the footage I was watching, where you've been called forward as one of the finalists, and the host is saying, "Wow, I love your smile." When you made a comment in just about it costs a lot. But I think for our audience that don't know all of your journey, that's not an offhand comment in terms of I've paid for all of this financially, but in terms of your journey emotionally, mentally, and what you've had to put in, in terms of building that smile and having that confidence. Can you encourage our audience that might feel like, oh, Kat's so beautiful, she's stunning, it's all right for her? Can you encourage somebody out there in our audience from that part of your journey?
Yeah, so my journey has been a journey. I didn't, wake up one morning and say, "Hey, I'm Kat and I'm going to be super confident." It's been a trajectory, I've been through severe body dysmorphia. I was actually born with a calcium deficiency called hypercalcemia, which means that my teeth would break very, very easily. So when I say it cost a lot of money, yes, it did cost a lot of money, because I had to actually physically rebuild my smile. But I actually attribute rebuilding my smile to being the catalyst that gave me my confidence. So actually, if it wasn't for me rebuilding my smile and overcoming my huge fear of dental phobia, I would never have taken part in my first pageant. I would never have got into modeling, because I didn't have the confidence. And a lot of people attribute my increased confidence to weight loss and things like that, but actually my weight is the least interesting thing about me, and it's the one thing that people focus on the most. A lot of people say, "Why do you promote the fact that you're plus size then?" Because it's for people that feel unseen. People often that look like me don't often get opportunities in life. And that is not just because of my size, that's because of my race, because of the fact that I'm a woman. I'm already at a level of disadvantage. So if I elevate and say I'm a plus size woman of colour, that is getting people to stand up and take notice and say, well, hang on a minute, she's plus size, so am I. She's a woman of colour, so am I. Maybe I can do that. And what I would love ultimately is for it to be like a non-thing. I would like it to be a case that it's going back to that equality and equity thing. If more people who look like me achieve that level of success, it then becomes the norm, the societal norm. And then we don't have to shout about the fact that we're plus size. We don't have to shout about the fact that we are women of colour, because everybody will have a level seat at the playing field, But right now we don't have that level of equity, which is why it's so important.
I think that's one of the things that made it so beautiful, that it was your smile that the host was focusing on, not your color, not your size, this smile, and how confident, and how, I think you said it was contagious. Your smile was contagious, And I think knowing a little bit about you from the last time we met, and I thought, wow, that's really powerful, because the journey to that smile it is contagious. And I think that's really, really empowering message to give out to other people who may think, I can't do it because of this. So
a smile can change the world, guys. I think people, absolutely. we kind of undervalue the value of smiling at people. Like if you walk down the road and you smile, one, you appear more confident, you're more likely to contagiously inspire somebody else to smile back. Those things are super, super easy, free. And it's one of the life's kindnesses that you can just go around and do. Spread more kindness, be more happy. Those things are super important. So why would you not want to do that more often?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And it's better for our face.
Yes. Well, I don't know about the crow's feet and the smile lines, all of that happens. But you know what? That's just evolution. My face is going to be happily stuck like this forever. Who needs Botox when you just smile all the time?
I don't know. If we did our quick fire and we said, okay, crow's feet and smile line versus frown lines, I think I'm going to go for the smile lines.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. I frown too much, and I have a very, very predominant frown line here. But that's happened. It just happens that way.
Wow. Okay, so Miss Surrey Galaxy, that's your current title. You're looking at Miss Galaxy UK and then to go international. Just take us through that process. How does it happen? What's likely to happen over the next year? Because we believe in you. We know you're going to win. We're rooting for you. So take us on the journey with you.
And what do we need to do that to show our support?
How can we support you?
So it's usually about a year's preparation. I came into the game quite late because I only handed over my GB title in October. I applied in December, and then I was only accepted in January. So I've kind of cut the time off. I'm actually competing in March this year. So I don't have a lot of time. Most women that are taking part in this competition will have applied probably around like March, April last year to compete this year. So I'm already on the back foot. So what your duty is as a contestant is to make sure that this sash and your personal platform is seen as much in society as possible. So, getting onto conversations like this so that I can actually build my own personal platform is really important.
We're really keen to find out about your journey going forward, but can you tell us then, you've handed over the crown of Miss Great Britain. What was that like? What was your year as Miss Great Britain like?
It was very rewarding. I enjoyed being Miss Great Britain. It was nice to be able to represent the country on that scale. It was daunting, difficult, and it was also quite challenging. I found it really difficult at times because I was coming across a lot of adversity, and I say adversity because it actually encompassed racism, outright death threats, some real negativity thrown my way, and that was simply because of the colour of my skin and the fact that I was a plus size woman. A lot of people who don't like pageants, two, don't like plus size people, and do not really favour people of colour, really took it upon themselves to say that I was not the correct representation for Great Britain. I experienced a lot of trolling, death threats, and just I'm lucky that I was raised with thick skin, because anybody in society, when they have that level of negativity thrown at them, it can take a toll on people. And I count myself very lucky to be able to say your opinion is your own, however I'm not going to let that penetrate how I feel about myself. But that takes a lot of resilience, and it takes a lot of confidence to be able to stand proudly in your power without having other people constantly berate you just because of the things that you cannot change about yourself. So it was difficult. I am very, very grateful for every opportunity that I was afforded as Miss Great Britain, and I will continue to support the system. It's family to me. However, I've got more work to do. I have to empower other people, and that's why I'm hoping to win and achieve this title, because I want to go on to the international level and then take that to a grander scale. So it's great to have represented Miss Great Britain as a system. However, that's not where my journey ends, and I hope that people will continue to support me regardless of the fact that I'm no longer a queen for that system.
And I hope and believe that group of people who kind of really weren't happy with your success as Miss Great Britain were a small minority. I'd like to think that the majority of people in this country have moved on and see Britain as a multicultural, a diverse place where everyone can thrive given the right support. Listen, one thing you can be assured of, Kat, we will always be celebrating you. We will always be cheering you on. So we're rooting for you.
Thank you.
You are currently Miss Surrey Galaxy.
Yeah, that's right.
And there is a Miss UK Galaxy title and an international Galaxy title. Take us through the journey so that we can support you through that.
So most people that take part in this pageant will have signed up at some period last year. I actually started quite late in the game because I handed over my GB title in October. I applied in December and was only accepted and got my sponsorship through in January. So I'm competing in March. So I'm quite late to the game. The process for any contestant that takes part in a pageant is, once you've got your sash, you start to appear within your local community at public events, wearing your sash, representing the system, and trying to build your own personal profile, as well as elevating the pageant system's profile. So the way that you guys can support us as contestants is allow us to use your platforms to elevate our voices. So, interviews like this is really important because it allows people that may have not have understood pageantry or even contemplated it. You'll now hear my voice, and hopefully that will change your perspective, or, it might further your perspective. Who knows? But at least it allows us to kind of grow the network, and that's what's really important. So you follow the contestants throughout the year. They then get to competition night. On the competition night, there's obviously a personal interview. For my age category, we have swimwear and fashion wear, and then our evening gown. And then one person will win the crown. Once they've won that title, they will then start the process again as their own Galaxy title, to then compete at the international leg, which is going to happen, I think, in August. So it's not a lot of time between March and August, but you do what you can and then prepare for the international stage. And it's actually taking place in Orlando, in Florida. So it's going to be the middle of summer. It's going to be absolutely blazing hot, but I hope that I get that opportunity. It's been my dream for a long time. I mentioned earlier that I'd already taken part in this system. So I competed in Galaxy back in 2017. And I was a little unorthodox. I was quite a baby to pageantry back when I took part. I had just won my first title, first national title, but and that was the title of Ms. British Beauty Curve back in 2015. And it was a pageant that had been set up solely for women that were plus size. So before I went to Galaxy, I had never taken part in a mainstream pageant before. And there was quite a clear divide between people that had actively taken part in curve pageants or plus size pageants, didn't really have the confidence to bridge the gap into mainstream because they didn't feel seen and represented. So I wanted to try and bridge that gap. So I went in as a size 20, I think it was a size 24 at the time, and to take part in Galaxy. At the time, they had just crowned a woman of colour and a plus size woman as the two queens for Mrs. and Ms. So I felt seen, I felt heard, and it gave me the power to feel like I could get up on that stage. And I did. And I went out there with like a bright pink bikini, had all my stretch marks showing, huge, big rainbow wings. Like I went whole hog. And for the first time taking part in that pageant, I actually placed within the top 10, but I was still a young pageant girl. So I didn't have the confidence to go straight back in. And I'm glad that I waited because I kind of feel like I've grown as a person. I know who I am. I'm far more confident. So now I'm ready. I'm ready to go back to Galaxy to claim the position that I feel like I'm ready for. And I know that I'll be a fantastic queen. I know that any of the contestants really could take home this title and run with it, but I'm ready and it's my time. And I think that it's going to be my next journey, and I'm quite resilient. Even if I don't win this time, I very, 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 very much will continue until I've achieved it, because I don't give up on a goal.
That's brilliant.